My name is Joe Chandler, and I'm an associate professor of psychology here at Athens State. I come from a family of educators, and I grew up in the back of my father's college classroom. So he was a professor at Jacksonville State University, and he would take me into classes and give me a coloring book, or I would do my homework in the back of class while he taught. And I caught the bug kind of early on. When the class was over, he would take me to his office, and he was a professor of communications, and I would sit there and get to play with all of his equipment and all that kind of stuff, And now I'll bring my kids here, and they'll sit and they'll play with the model of the brain or do their homework at my desk, and it was always something that I knew I wanted to do. That has always been a priority of mine because my favorite professors always showed that to me coming up. I watched my dad do that with his students. He would get to know his students, and not just in a cursory way. He really took genuine interest in who they were and why they wanted to pursue what they were working on in class. And then in college, I was lucky. I graduated from Birmingham Southern College as well, which is why that was my first stop teaching. And I had several professors who really connected and cared about me. And I knew that was something that I wanted to do as well. And then when I got to Athens State, it became even more important because many of my students are my age or older than I am. They have similar life experiences, and they've got kids, and they've got jobs, and it became fascinating to me to understand why they were choosing to complete their education in the midst of all the rest of that. I think about how busy I am in a day, and where I would fit in seeking a degree, and it inspired me to know that a lot of the students were choosing that in the midst of everything else that was going on in their lives. Psychology is the handbook for the human condition. And everyone should take psychology. I'm biased, but I think everybody should have a basic working knowledge of the science of psychology, because it allows you to be an intelligent consumer of information. Even if you don't ever use it as a profession, you'll become an intelligent consumer of information, sort of bulletproof to other people fooling you. And if you do choose to use it as a profession, you'll become an intelligent producer of new information about how people work and all of the things that you can use to apply that to. We often talk about mental health and counseling services, but psychology touches almost everything else that you can think of as a fundamental skill. And that's what I would tell the students who are thinking about coming here. This is a place that achieves the really difficult balance of practicality with academic rigor. I think a lot of folks get the wrong idea about higher education and think that it's superfluous, or it's something you don't really have to pursue, or why would you take a philosophy class if you're not going to have a job in it, and that sort of thing. Having a basic liberal arts education is necessary for being a contributor to your society and to the world. Athens State helps you get there, while also in parallel helping you prepare for an immediate career after graduation. And that is so hard to do. That's one of the things that I think really makes this place worth looking at, is the ability to have both of those things happen at the same time. My wife and I, our third child, her name was Ava Grace, and she was born with an incredibly rare genetic difference called Kagami-Ogata syndrome. There are fewer than 100 kids living with it in the world today, and part of our journey was the really scary realization that most of the people that we talked to in the medical profession had never heard of it, didn't know how to treat it. And we have wonderful doctors and nurses and medical professionals throughout her journey, but we never had somebody able to look at us and say, I know what to do next, you know. And so when she passed away in August of 2022, we decided to found the Ava Grace Foundation to help other families navigate that journey so that they didn't have to go through the uncertainty that we did. Find out more about it at avagracefoundation.org. And it's something that we're building and would love as many people to know about as possible.
That's